Hi guys, this is Angela. Thank you for coming back to my channel. I just uploaded a tag, my rainy day decks. And as soon as I uploaded it, I saw that there was another tag running around. This one is by Quin at Lucid Moons. But I actually saw it on Rochelle at Amethyst Ascension's channel. So I thought I'd go ahead and do it. And these are literally just like what decks came to mind on these prompts. It is the hashtag tarot through movie genres. And I love movies. I have basically, I could open up my own rental store in my house right now because I have so many movies. I have a lot less since you were able to stream things, but I have as far back as VHS. Like, I have a lot of movies. So, this was interesting. And it's funny because the ones I thought would go into a certain genre didn't. And it went somewhere else. So I thought that was interesting as well. So, without further ado, and Amethyst Ascension added 4. I'm only doing one of her 4. So I have 14 decks here. So, without further ado, number 1 is Sci-Fi. A deck that incorporates imaginative, speculative, and or futuristic concepts. And this is the hardest one. I'm like, can I even do this? I can't even find number 1. But then as I thought about it, I'm like, oh yeah. The Stranger Things is number 1. It's by Inside Editions. It is one of probably 2 decks in here that I would consider sci-fi. Stranger Things. Sci-fi to me is going into other worlds. Anyway, that I think of going into other worlds, and she mentioned Stargate. That's one of my favorite, probably top 10 movies ever. The movie, which is what I thought of when I thought of this deck. Yeah. This is the sci-fi deck I thought of. I don't think of Star Wars so much as like anything in outer space or anything in, like I said, when you have to open up a portal or go into another world. Like there's a cartoon called Strange World. I thought that was very interesting as well. To me, that's more of a sci-fi kind of movie, along with this type of Stranger Things. I've never watched Stranger Things. I can't get into it, but I love the deck. It feels very otherworldly to me, and I love it. So that is deck 1 is sci-fi, which it's funny because it was one of the last ones I finally was like, duh, it has to be Stranger Things. So, number 2 is horror, a deck that scares, frightens, or disturbs you. I could have went with the zombie tarot. I even could have went with the horror tarot, also by Inside Editions. However, I went with a deck that scares the bejesus out of me. I don't know why I still have it. I barely used it. It terrifies me. And that is the Night Sun Tarot by Fabio Lestrani. This is a Lo Scarabeo deck. This is the mini. I don't know if I could handle the full size. It's that frightening. I always think of the movie Ghost of Mars, because to me, horror movies are more about, and it could be the same for thriller, are more about, let me zoom in here, show you how disturbing this deck is. It's more about people changing. And the Ghost of Mars has got ice cube in it. It's literally them unleashing some unknown force that you can't see, and it's literally changing people's personality, changing them into killers. And that's what this deck reminds me of so hard. I don't know why. It just creeps me out so hard. And that, to me, is horror, is the ones that really terrify you. And that's what I thought of with this. This is literally the first deck I thought of. I'm like, yeah, it has to be that deck. Yeah, it's creepy AF. And, yeah. And that's to me why it's horrifying, because it's movies that almost like what was it? the M. Night Shyamalan maybe long ago with Mark Wahlberg, where something in the air changed them to where they were like killing themselves. That's the kind of horror that I'm like, oh my God, it terrifies me. Anyway, something that could come along and change who you are mentally, emotionally, physically. It's creepy. So that was horror. 3 is romance. So we have romance, a deck that focuses on relationships or romantic love between people with an overall emotionally satisfying or optimistic tone. And the only deck I thought of is the Modern Love Tarot. Let me zoom out a little. By Ethany, because of course, and I like this deck because it's modern. It's got the gold gilding on the edges. It's the fatter, yeah, beautiful cardstock, beautiful backs. This depicts to me real life relationships in the now, here and now, and that's one of the reasons I love it. I love this 8 of Cups. She's literally moving away, and I think it's interesting here. There's 2 cups here, but then one is knocked over here. It's almost like a reflection of what was and what is to come, and I find that very fascinating. And yeah, of course, this is the deck that we have to put in here, right? For any romantic, look at that. Yeah, because it isn't just it's a romantic deck, but it's also the reality of relationships aren't always hunky-dory, right? There's always a crisis before they figure out they belong together or love each other or find themselves in these romantic movies, and that's what I like about, that's what the thing I like about romantic movies. So that's cool. So that's the romantic, or the Modern Love Tarot. Number 4, Thriller, a deck that delivers tension, surprise, and or sense of impending doom and keeps you at the edge of your seat. And like I said, the horror and the thriller could almost coexist here. I don't remember which deck okay. They could almost be interchangeable here. And to me, when I think of thriller, I think of The Hills Have Eyes. I think of Wrong Turn. Almost kind of apocalyptic thing, but in a centralized area. Again, it's about people and their perception and their personality, just like the horror. But the horror is almost like things happening to you that are out of your control, like the wind has poison and it's affecting your brain somehow. Whereas thriller is people with these tendencies to become cannibals or just they have a tendency to murder. I've been watching a lot of oh my God, I just was watching it. Oh my God, I can't even think of the name of it. Hold on. Sorry, I had a brain fart. Criminal Minds. I've been watching a lot of Criminal Minds, and to me that is a thriller. It's people that have tendencies or something's triggered in their life and they become this. Or like I said, and a lot of it, yes, they have triggers, but it's this personality of this person that already has these tendencies. Something just brought it out in them. And for that, I brought out the Omega Land Tarot. This is by US Games. This is a kind of apocalyptic game, but it's also for like, I love the backs here. Survival mode, right? Like, and people that are, I can't remember the name of it. Like, they have an underground bunker. They're ready for anything. Those can get kind of fanatical, and try to impose themselves on other people. And that can be dangerous in and of itself. And to me, that fits with those type of movies, as well. They all have guns and they all got these underground bunkers and they're just ready for anything. Ready for anything. And it may not, and he's like out in the woods. And it can, look at that. Like they accidentally shot him or something. And I did see a episode of Criminal Minds where there was guys out hunting. They would kidnap girls and then hunt them for sport. And I'm like, why? But that's what this deck reminds me of, though, my Gillian Tarot. It's the thriller deck for me. It's creepy AF. So, number 5, Mystery. A deck that is mysterious, suspenseful, and doesn't reveal answers right away. Reading with this deck may feel like putting a puzzle together. And that is my Baron Pinter Tarot by Los Scarabaro. I love this deck. It is a shadow work deck for me, but sometimes it doesn't give you what you want right away. It makes you wait for it. Now this Chariot, very visceral reaction when I first got this deck. I was like, what the hell? But so many other cards in here. I would play with it, shuffle it, look at it, and then I'm like, oh my God, like it would hit me after the fact. And that's one of the reasons I keep coming back to this as a shadow work deck, because it uncovers it, but it doesn't slap you in the face with it. It lets you dig for a while. And I love it for that. It lets you dig until you're comfortable uncovering the body under the earth or the skeleton or whatever it is. And I love that. I love this deck for that. But yeah, that's the Baron Pinter Tarot. Crazy. Okay. Bear with me one. So number 6 is Action, a deck that features loud and spectacular imagery that may be overwhelming, but you love it anyway. What did I put? I don't think I put anything. I think I grabbed something, but I don't remember what I grabbed. Oh, I did grab it. That is the Line Strider Tarot. And you're probably thinking, what? This is by C.L. Thompson. This is a Llewellyn deck. Let me pull it out here, and I'll explain why. To me, so many decks left. This is the only deck I have in my collection with so much white space. And the white space is there, and it feels like any moment these characters could animate and come to life, if you will, and walk off the card. Just like this guy. Like he's just frozen in time mid-walk, but he could reanimate any second and walk off the page. And I love that. And that's why, to me, this is the Action deck, because it feels like they're just sleeping. Any minute, they're going to walk off the page and you're going to have a blank card. And I love that about this deck. I never use it, but I love that concept in this deck. But it's the only deck I have with all this white space like that. And I love it to pieces for that energy it brings to me. So that is the Line Strider Tarot, the Action deck. Number 7, Fantasy. A deck that transports you to an imaginary world with magic, mystical creatures, or elements of the supernatural that don't exist in the real world. And I have the Supernatural Tarot. I could have used a lot of decks. But, kind of little on the nose here, the Universal Fantasy Tarot by Los Scarabaro. This has like multiple moons. It feels very otherworldly, like I'm in another world, but it's fantastical. Love the backs. This is one of the first decks I pulled for this prompt. It's stunning also. Look at that. They're flying in a ship. I love it. It's very fantasy. Oh, there's a dragon down here looking thing. Yeah, there's a big flying bird. There's a I forget what they're called. You know. But it's very fantasy, beautiful related. Look, it's so beautiful too. I've used the crap out of this deck. It's stunning, and I love it to pieces. Yeah, look at this big old creatures. Beautiful. Beautiful. Let me see here. Is that the one? No, it's not. You see all these creatures here in the trees, and he's down at the tree. It just feels like almost like a Jack and the Beanstalk feeling to this deck. Very fantastical. So that's fantasy. I gotta keep going, trucking along here. 8, comedy. A deck that is humorous, amusing, or includes laughter and or a sense of enjoyment. And you're going to think, what? But it's my zombie tarot. I don't care how... Yeah, this is... I could have put this in a rainy day deck, too, because every time I'm feeling down and I pull this out, I just start giggling. The Chariot, turn it around. I don't know. It's the 50s feel to it. The book is amazing. I love this freaking deck. Anytime I'm in a bad mood, I pull it out. Or if I'm sad, I pull it out and boom, love. Yeah, it's gorgeous. It's stunning. And I love the cardstock. I love everything about this deck. It's the Zombie Tarot, the comedy. It almost feels like, Police Academy or Naked Gun, those older slapstick comedies. That's what it feels like. So number 9, drama, a deck that focuses on conflicts and characters' lives that takes a more serious tone. I said drama, right? Yes, it is the New Era Elements Tarot. This is also by U.S. Games. Yeah, this is a very dark, serious deck. If you don't want your, it's a smaller cardstock too. If you don't want your truth shown to you, look at that, 9 of Swords right on top. Don't buy this deck. Don't look at this deck. It will rip you a new one. And you're just like, what just happened? But it's my drama. It's the one that will bring you to tears, every time. Like, it's crazy. There's some very hard-hitting cards in here. And it's funny, I'm getting all court cards here. 5 of Cups, 5 of Disappointment, the 10 of Wands, the Oppression. It's stunning. But it's also very hard-hitting, very dramatic in its messages. And for that, that's my drama deck. Okay, number 10. 4 more, real quick. Gosh. Number 10, documentary, a deck that depicts real life people, animals, events, or situations that may be educational or informative. And I heard educational and immediately thought of this deck. It is the Animal and Botanical Tarot. This makes me think of like the Nature Channel or Reader's Digest kind of deal with the nature. And it's so beautiful. It gives you freaking snake. I hate that. There's several snakes in here. It's an indie deck. It's quite expensive. The book, worth it. Period. Worth it. It shows you every insect, every animal, every plant. Gives you the scientific meaning, name for it. There's another snake. Gives you the meaning and the reason why it's depicted. It's so fantastic, and I love it. 2 pieces. I love turtles in a deck. So that is my documentary. Then we have animated. Oh my gosh, I can't. Animated, a deck with bright, expressive, or cartoon-like images that you probably would have enjoyed as a kid and still love as an adult. I thought of all those 50s cartoons back in the day. This is the Mystical Medleys. The 50s style cartoons. Even the black and white ones back in the day. Look at the backs. Like Steamboat Willie, things like that is what I thought of. And I love it. This is my childhood deck. The deck I use for childhood work. It's very hard-hitting. But at the same time, it makes you smile because it's so cute. Everything's alive in it. But that's, yeah, I love that. Mystical Medleys is my animated deck, and I freaking love it. 2 pieces. Like I said, it's a hard hitter. It may look deceiving because it's not a sweet, innocent little baby deck. So that was number 11. Number 12, Western. A deck that embodies a spirit of freedom, exploration, and adventure. And the only deck I thought of is my Native American Tarot. This is the Los Scarabeo deck also. Gorgeous backs. It's very Western, very Native American for that time period. I think there's a lot of snakes in here too. I think there's even a couple cowboys in here. This artwork is stunning. It's beautiful. I love it to pieces. I think of all the old westerns, Unforgiven. I think of Last of the Mohicans, things like that when I see this deck. And yeah, it's stunning. And that's what that is. Dances with Wolves. Oh, love it. Number 13. Okay, so the last of these, black and white film, your favorite black and white deck or a vintage deck from another era. And I just showed this in my previous video, but my first black and white movie ever was a Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and let me tell you, a scary movie in black and white is worse than anything in color. But then I have the Christmas movie that's black and white that I love. I watch it every year. But I've always thought of, when you see a black and white movie, I've always thought of that dark, gritty horror. And I've thought of the Poe Tarot. What else am I going to think of? Almost like a Jack the Ripper kind of deal, but it's black and white. And let me tell you, beautiful deck. And it's got quotes from his poetry and books on the cards. It is stunning. I love it to pieces. It's beautiful. And yeah, it just makes me think of that first black and white movie I ever saw, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, in black and white. I was terrified. But that's what I think of, is that kind of older black and white type deal. So that's it for the ones that were on there. And then Amethyst Ascension added 5. Slasher, apocalyptic, musical, superhero, historical, and paranormal religion. I only did the apocalyptic because that is other than romantic comedy, that is my favorite genre of movie. Day After Tomorrow, the Divergent series, and I can't even think of it anymore. 2012. Yeah. I did want to say musical. I wanted to do musical, but I didn't have anything for it. Where's the deck I'm looking for? Oh, musical. I thought of immediately Seven Brides for Seven Brothers, and of course Grease is my all-time favorite movie ever. But I also thought of Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. If you haven't seen that, check it out. It's not a black and white movie, but it is a musical. I do like Mamma Mia Part 2, I think, more than Part 1. And I do want to see The Greatest Showman because it looks awesome. But I don't really like musicals. Those are pretty much it for me. But I did do the apocalyptic because it's my second favorite genre of any movie. Let me see here. I did add Day After Tomorrow, Maze Runner, the Divergent series. Love those. 2012, awesome movies. I have a couple of kind of apocalyptic. I have the Apocalypsis Tarot, but I'm like, that's not an apocalyptic movie. However, Fallout 4 is. It's a game. It's now a TV series. It is literally the epitome of an apocalyptic type show. I love how it looks all gritty and old. Look at the book. It looks all old. I love it. But this is my apocalyptic movie, or apocalyptic deck. I love it to pieces. It is a pip deck. It is by Inside Editions, but I don't care. It's stunning, and I love it. I love the game. The deck prompted me to buy the game, and I bought the game, and I love it because it starts off. It's already in the future, but they're still in like a 50s era. And then stuff happens, and they're all frozen, and then they wake up, and it's hundreds of years. I think it's 90 years later. And it still feels like the 50s. So I love that. And there's some people that, of course, that are mutated and things like this guy mutated and all kinds of things are cool with it. I have not seen the series yet. I'm dying to see it. I can't watch it on, I can only watch it on Prime, and I don't have Prime all the time. So, yeah, but that is the, tag I wanted to do real quick for you guys. It is the, what did I say? I watched Amethyst Ascension, but it's hashtag tarot through the movie genres, be our to Quin at Lucid Moons, and I will post her link below, as well as Amethyst Ascensions. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, don't hesitate to comment below. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more, please subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification button so you're alerted to any future videos. And y'all have a good afternoon. Bye.